What's up guys, welcome back for another Yugioh Pro Duel video. DDDs in the new Master Rule 5 / Master Rule 2020 again TCG, the current TCG ban list, right? This is the current list. I think it's basically a staple or standard DDD build, bar maybe the Into the Void for the extra draw power, no Ash Blossom in the main deck, only triple impermanence for some effect negation. And yeah, the extra deck might need some work. The Gilgamesh is still in the extra deck, you know, the DDD or DDD Link monster, but I don't think it's confirmed yet for the TCG. So is it needed for the extra deck? Not really, because now we are getting Needle Fiber and Claw Thief as well. So those are definitely maybe better because of DD Gilgamesh's restriction. But yeah, sometimes the Link might, you know, be like a sweet or excellent follow-up play. So the Link is, well, if it's released, I would definitely put it in an extra deck. But again, Needle Fiber is in there, Claw Thief as well. And I was trying all of these cards out. Like in the first tools, I wasn't main decking Needle Fiber as well, and like Claw Thief also. But I eventually like quickly slept those in as well, because you know, like you might have the space. I was running those extra DDs, like the Fusion and the Synchro, but the Pendulum Rise, like the Pendulum Fusions, but you rarely go for them. So anyway, thanks to the new Master Rule, mechanically, I guess Master Rule 5 or Master Rule 2020, the deck definitely still got a boost. It's quite, well, I think it's very similar to how it was right before Master Rule 4 hit the scene. You know, like DDDs finally getting all of those support, and then we got Master Rule 4, kinda nuking the deck. But, you know, DDs is quite of a difficult deck to play. It's heavily combo-oriented because of the multiple 2/3/4 card combos you can pull off. And, okay, there are like 4 card combos that can end with, you know, those delicious fields of Titanic Galaxy, Siegfried, Crystal Wing, etc. Maybe if you happen to go for double Genghis, making the rank 6, yeah, indeed the rank 6 exceed as well to get some extra special summon negation. But a couple of flaws is that, well, same as the deck here, like Blue Eyes, I think both decks really do want to do the same, is pump out that big first turn field, but both decks have the big weakness to the tin promos, like Nibiru and Dark Rule and no more. With all of those monster negations, both these decks fall to those tin promos, and that's the huge, I think the biggest flaw. That, well, mainly because, you know, I'm featuring DDDs here, but that mainly DDDs has to worry about going into the new Master Rule. So yeah, you could like pump out those delicious fields, but if your opponent has Nibiru or Dark Rule or no more, the deck might just lose from there. Evenly matched is not really a problem, since again, you know, you can just negate those cards. And this is one of those duels where I wasn't main decking Needle Fiber, but you know, like, it was definitely an option, because if you're forced to banish your Lamia early or too soon, just go for Needle Fiber, right? But again, more duels about that next up. So anyway, like, I believe the standard fields you can pump out even with 1 negation from the opponent. Not really sure if 2 negations could, I think 2 negations might stop the entire thing, or, you know, like, maybe you not being able to end with multiple negations. And I'm looking at, like, the quote-unquote standard fields with their multiple mainly like 3 card combos, and, you know, like, everything searches. There you have the Link 2, for example, that sets up the scales, and Ragnarok special summon. I mean, there are so many possibilities, so many decision trees you have to make, and that's, I think, like, what makes this deck so hard to play in like a competitive environment, like a tournament or YCS. Is I think the standard field you can make is like Crystal Wing, Siegfried and Titanic Galaxy, and then depending if you have Needle Fiber, and that's something I definitely want to try out as well, if I find the space in the extra deck, is using Needle Fiber for, what is it called, Riser Dragon, and maybe going for the Synchro Summon during your opponent's turn. That might also be cool, but again, I need to find some space in the extra deck. So yeah, Genghis during the opponent's turn also got an attack boost, by the way, due to Claw Thief, because the Synchro, you know, is one of the zones where Claw Thief is pointing towards too. Claw Thief is cool. Probably reborning a level 4 or lower monster. Most of the time it will just be Lamia, right? Prevent your Lamia from being banished. And leaving Genghis on the field kinda gives you some extra potential recovery plays during your next turn, while on top of it, if your opponent happens to get rid of Genghis, you can just get something back from your graveyard. So it's all cool, but again, the biggest flaw still the biggest flaw of the deck still stays the same, and you know, like the tin promos, Dark Rule no more, etc. do kinda nuke this deck. So one Ash Blossom, and I need to make a recovery play, and I'm not really sure if I had any other plays left, but I don't think Needle Fiber was an option, right? I just go for Siegfried for the one-off negation and the Impermanence, the second negation, and the potential search here off of the contract card, but it won't matter that much. I believe there will, yeah, indeed, Titanic Galaxy will eventually prevent the contract from searching and drawing one of the slimes, DD Slime. Not really sure about the correct name, but it's a decent top deck. I mean, you know, I can just set it and it will be in the graveyard, and I can punch, like, let's say if I draw our top deck into Ragnarok, there might be a comeback play ready, but nope, that's not the case, and Melody will just trigger getting out Levi here, and yeah, what can I do? That's DDDs, or DDs is there aren't really a deck that can top deck that well. Double Copernicus, because it's basically Armageddonite, setting up your stuff, setting up the Pendulum Scale, but yeah, this build isn't really too focused on Pendulum Summoning, so it might be interesting, maybe try out Electromite, but I'm not really sure if that's the... you're better off just, you know, like use this, play pure, and focus on Needle Fiber, Cloth Thief, and if you want Gilgamesh as well. Last example going first, not really sure if I want to keep main decking those into the Void, since again DDs is a turbo deck, going first, going second, turboing into your multiple 2-card / 3-card combos I think is important, and well, discarding isn't really that big of a deal since you're pumping out those big monsters, especially because you're using the new Master Rule. So Lamia as well, getting out the Needle Fiber since Lamia will get banished, going for a Crystal Wing as well, getting the extra negation as well, so triple negation, indeed, triple negation, and yeah, at this point I wasn't playing Riser Dragon, so Needle Fiber could also, you know, tribute itself, Riser, etc. So something to keep in mind. And yeah, triple negation here in this case, it worked out fine. So DDs is definitely a deck to look out for. It needs more play testing, and maybe some tweaks here in the main deck. Riser Dragon in the extra deck, maybe the Boral Savage Dragon, that might be an option, but again, that's all up to you. Hand Traps, not really sure if this deck really wants to main deck Ash Blossom, but again, like, feedback is always appreciated. Okay, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching, and feel free to leave a comment or like if you enjoyed the video. Lithium signing out. Peace.